Hello guys, welcome back to Westeros. Finally, season 3 of House of the Dragon is dropping. And if you're anything like me, you probably can't remember who is related to who burned who, and why everyone is so incredibly angry. Don't worry, I've got you. Today, we are recapping seasons 1 and 2 of House of the Dragon, so you are 100% ready for the chaos of season 3. But first, let's talk about the Targaryen family tree. Yeah, it's less of a family tree and more of a family graph. To keep it simple, everyone is related, everyone has white hair, and half the cast is named some variation of Aegon, Rhaenys, or Rhaenyra. Let's simplify it. There are two teams, Team Black, led by Rhaenyra Targaryen, and Team Green, led by Alicent Hightower and her son Aegon. The story starts with the King Jaehaerys, the longest reigning Targaryen monarch, sitting on the throne for 55 years, needing to choose his successor among his grandchildren, Viserys and Rhaenys. Jaehaerys chooses Viserys as his successor, even though Rhaenys is older than Viserys, who always referred as the queen who never was throughout the show. But our main plot starts with King Viserys the First. Great guy, loves his Lego models, wonderful at making decisions, and has an immune system made of wet paper. Viserys wants a male heir, but tragedy strikes, and his wife dies in childbirth, and the baby immediately after. So, in a shocking, progressive move for Westeros, Viserys names his teenage daughter Rhaenyra as heir to the Iron Throne. He specifically does this to block his chaotic, war crime-loving brother, Daemon, from getting the crown. But King Viserys, with the influence of his council members, especially his hand, marries Rhaenyra's absolute best friend to produce male heirs, secure the stability of his realm, and find personal companionship after the tragic death of his first wife, making this awkward between Alicent and Rhaenyra. Alicent gives Viserys the male sons he always wanted, Aegon, Aemond, and Daeron, plus a daughter, Helaena, who later marries her own brother Aegon and births a son and a daughter. Typical Targaryens. So now we have a massive problem. Rhaenyra is the named heir, but Aegon is the king's firstborn son. Fast forward a couple of decades. The girls are grown up and they absolutely hate each other. Talking about Rhaenyra's messy love life, first, she hooks up with her king's guard, Sir Criston Cole, but she has to dump him to marry her cousin, Lyonor Velaryon. Cole takes this rejection so badly that he instantly switches sides and attaches himself to Queen Alicent, dedicating the rest of his life to being Rhaenyra's biggest hater. Rhaenyra marries Laenor, but there's a catch. Laenor is completely uninterested in women. So, to get heirs, Rhaenyra secretly relies on the captain of the City Watch, Harwin Strong. Her three kids, Jace, Luke, and Joffrey, mysteriously have dark, curly hair and look exactly like Harwin. Both the Targaryen and Velaryon families know exactly what is happening, but they choose to ignore it to keep their dignity. But Alicent's kids love pointing it out. Fights break out constantly. Meanwhile, Uncle Daemon is busy. He secretly murders his first wife just to get out of the marriage, and then weds Lady Laena Velaryon. They have twin daughters, but tragically, Laena suffers a painful, prolonged labor. Unable to handle it, she chooses to die a dragon rider's death, commanding her dragon to burn her alive. This leaves her massive dragon Vhagar, the biggest in the world, unclaimed. Alicent's son Aemond secretly sneaks out and claims Vhagar that very night. But he loses an eye in a brutal fistfight with Rhaenyra's kids over it. So now, Aemond looks like an anime villain and holds a massive grudge. And the old friends, Rhaenyra and Alicent, they are now bitter enemies. To secure her political power, Rhaenyra has her husband Laenor fake his own death, allowing her to marry her uncle Daemon. Remember the family graph? Yeah, we're deep in that web now. Eventually, King Viserys is literally falling apart. He manages to drag his half-decomposed body to the throne room one last time to defend Rhaenyra's claim, throws a family dinner where everyone pretends to get along, and then he dies. But on his deathbed, Viserys mumbles a prophecy about Aegon to Alicent. He means Aegon the Conqueror from 200 years ago. Alicent, hearing what she wants to hear, thinks he means her son, Aegon, the teenager who spends his time drinking and going to fighting pits. Alicent's dad, Otto Hightower, immediately steals the crown and puts Aegon on the throne. The Greens have officially usurped the Blacks. Rhaenyra finds out, goes into premature labor, and is crowned queen on Dragonstone. She wants to keep the peace, so she sends her son Luke as a messenger to Storm's End to gain support. But guess who's already there? Anime villain Aemond and his Godzilla-sized dragon Vhagar. Aemond just wants to bully Luke, but dragons aren't cars. You can't just hit the brakes. Vhagar gets hungry, disobeys orders, and literally chomps Luke and his tiny dragon out of the sky. Oops, diplomacy is officially dead. The Dance of the Dragons has begun, Season 2 kicks off, and Team Black wants revenge. Daemon goes full mob boss and hires two absolute buffoons, Blood and Cheese, to sneak into the Red Keep and kill Aemond. A son for a son. Instead, they get lost, end up in Queen Helena's room and assassinate Aegon's toddler heir. It's horrific, it's tragic, and it completely backfires politically. Rhaenyra is furious with Daemon, so Daemon packs his bags, jumps on his dragon, and flies to Harrenhal. For the next 6 episodes, Daemon stars in his own personal game of Luigi's Mansion. Harrenhal is haunted, and Daemon spends the entire season hallucinating his dead relatives, fighting his own ego, and doing intense psychological therapy with a local witch named Alice Rivers. He is absolutely no help to anyone during this time. Meanwhile, King Aegon is acting exactly like a spoiled kid who just got the cheat codes to a video game. He fires his grandfather Otto as Hand of the King and replaces him with Sir Criston Cole, a guy whose entire personality is just being bitter about getting dumped by Rhaenyra 20 years ago. Cole marches an army to Rook's Rest. Rhaenyra sends her mother-in-law, Rhaenys, on her dragon, Meleys, to stop them. And guys, it's a trap. Aemond and Vhagar, the biggest dragon, are hiding in the woods. King Aegon, wanting to look cool, also flies his own dragon, Sunfire, into the battle completely uninvited. Aemond, seizing the opportunity to get a promotion, literally uses his huge dragon to blast both Rhaenys and his own brother Aegon out of the sky. Rhaenys goes out like an absolute boss, but she dies. King Aegon survives, but he looks like a burnt chicken nugget and is in a full body cast. So who takes over? Aemond. The guy who caused the war is now Prince Regent. Fantastic. Back on Dragonstone, Rhaenyra is panicking. She's losing allies, she lost Rhaenys, and Team Green's dragon, Vhagar, is practically a flying nuke. Rhaenyra has a bunch of riderless dragons sitting in her basement, but no Targaryens to ride them. So her son Jace suggests a crazy idea. The sowing of the seeds. They put out an ad. Are you an illegitimate Targaryen bastard? Come try to ride a dragon. Warning, 90% chance you get eaten. Dozens of people show up. Most of them get instantly barbecued. But 3 unlikely heroes manage to claim dragons. Adam of Hull, a loyal sailor. Hugh Hammer, a blacksmith who just wants to feed his sick kid. And Ulf the White, the local tavern drunk, who basically trips and falls onto a dragon named Silverwing and somehow doesn't die. Suddenly, Rhaenyra has the biggest air force in Westeros. Aemond flies out to intimidate Dragonstone, sees Rhaenyra standing on a balcony with a squad of brand new dragons behind her, and hits the fattest U-turn in Westerosi history. This brings us to the Season 2 finale, which is basically the biggest hype-building montage of all time. Everything is falling into place for all-out, continent-destroying war. Here is exactly where everyone is right now. On Team Black, Rhaenyra finally has her dragon riders and is ready to strike King's Landing. Daemon has finally finished his haunted house therapy, gets a peek into the future of Westeros in his vision, raised a massive army in the Riverlands, and pledged his absolute loyalty back to Rhaenyra. Oh, and Rhaenyra secretly met with Alicent, who basically said, I messed up. Please come take the throne, just let me and my daughter live. On Team Green, Aemond is absolutely losing his mind because he knows he's outnumbered. He burned a whole town just to throw a tantrum. Crispy King Aegon has been secretly smuggled out of King's Landing by Larys Strong to go hide in Essos before Rhaenyra arrives. And the Greens have made a desperate deal with the Triarchy, a bunch of mud-wrestling pirates, to break Rhaenyra's naval blockade. The Stark army is marching down from the north. The Lannisters are marching from the west. The pirate fleet is sailing in. The dragons are saddled up. Season 1 was a passive-aggressive family drama. Season 2 was the build-up and the first blood. Season 3 is going to be absolute unfiltered fire and blood. There is no going back. The dance is fully underway. And that is everything you need to know before you hit play on Season 3. Which side are you on? Are you Team Black or Team Green? Let me know down in the comments. Keep it civil, unlike the Targaryens. If this recap helped untangle that messy family wreath, hit that like button, subscribe for my weekly Season 3 episode breakdowns, and I'll see you in Westeros. Valar Morghulis.